What's happening, YouTube? This is Eric with Magnolia Turf Solutions in Spring Hill, Tennessee. Had a pretty good week this week. I know last week we put a video out just trying to get on schedule. This week we were actually able to get everything on the schedule complete. So there was a little bit of miscommunication with one, but you know, I was under the understanding that they wanted it done every other week. They were under the understanding that they wanted it done every other week after this week. So that was the only one that didn't get done. I was already, you know, in a different town by the time they asked me if I was doing it, and I was like, no. And then, you know, let them know that they had told me, hey, it was every other week. So anyway, so, you know, a couple of things happened that were a first. I mean, we all lose customers from time to time. You know, a video that Brian's Lawn Maintenance put out, you know, about how to do your pricing, that was, you know, I watched a lot of Brian's Lawn Maintenance, a lot of Plemons, a lot of, I forget the guy in Savannah, cannot remember his name. I think it's Blades of Grass Lawn Care. They're all really good, and those are the ones that I mainly watch. That and Southern Style Lawn Care in Mississippi. Since I'm from Mississippi, gotta support those guys. But Brian had said when you do your pricing, know your worth and don't accept less than it. So everybody's pricing is different compared to what region you're in. So in Spring Hill, I have a base price for an average size yard. An average size yard in the neighborhood that I primarily cut in is 8,000 to 9,000 square feet for the average yard. That's not a corner lot, that's just your standard yard. And I have a base price for that. And I'm super transparent with all my customers. I let them know, hey, this is the base price for your size lot. If there's a fence, add this much to it. If there is an abundance of landscaping that I have to trim around, anything that's going to require more time on site, add X number of dollars to it. And they've all, once I explained it to them like that, they have all been great about it. You know, so I did have actually my first ever customer. I lost her this week, or end of last week. Because, you know, and I understand the whole coronavirus and everything going on. Some people aren't able to work at the same time. You know, it's up to you. You can do freebies if you want to. I don't, unless it is a serious circumstance. Like, there's a friend of mine, I don't even cut his yard normally, and he lives on one of the largest lots in the neighborhood. And they just found a little over a baseball-sized tumor between his heart and his spine. So to help out, I just go over there while I'm already cutting on his street. I don't weed eat, I don't edge. I just run the mower over his yard. It takes me 15 minutes, and you know, just to help them out, because you know, he was not expecting me to do it. I just did it and said, hey, you know, if I wish I could do more. You know, that day of the week is my slam full day of the week, and that's really all I have time for. And he's like, hey man, I really appreciate it. So that's the only kind of freebie that I'm probably going to give out. But you know, this one customer said, you know, with everything going on, I'm trying to save some money, and asked me to reduce my price of her yard by $10 per cut. Now, because I didn't really have much of a pricing structure last year, I started her off at the, you know, it was the $35, or excuse me, I tried not to say how much I charge for my base, but anyway, started her off at the $35 base price, even though she had a fence and she does have an abundance of landscaping. So technically she should be a good bit over that. But because she was my first customer, and, you know, trying to show some appreciation for her, you know, I left her at the base price. So she asked me if I could reduce it, and then I explained to her, you know, hey, no, because I'm actually already giving you a discount because you're supposed to be at this amount. But to show my appreciation for you being my first customer, I've left you at the base price." And she said, "Oh, well, I appreciate that." And then the next day, texted me and said that she had made other arrangements. Well, yeah, it sucks that I lost a customer, but know what you're worth and get what you're worth. Don't price gouge, but then you don't want to go in and undercut. Another thing when it comes to pricing, some people might say, "Oh, that's kind of steep." Well, I pride myself in doing very good work. I try to go above and beyond when I can, to do extra things. Like, the quick shoot on my mower leaves a small trail of clippings in the yard. Well, after I'm done, I take my blower and go through and walk all those trails, and I disperse all those clippings to where it looks like it's been truly mulched. So I actually got my first complaint yesterday. I don't do so well with complaints because, I do try to do an exceptional job, because, people get what they pay for. Email came in, said that there were some clippings left in the yard. Okay, that day there was heavy dew, the grass was really thick. I may have missed a pile of clippings. Oops, that one's on me. And then the how when you mow a damp yard and you go to turn around and you might leave like a green tire mark. I blow all that stuff off as best I can. And I don't carry a pressure washer with me, to take care of all that. I try to stay off the sidewalks and the driveways, but sometimes you just can't. But those green tire marks are generally gone within 24 hours anyway. So sent me pictures, told me they didn't appreciate it, and I'm still trying to figure out how I need to respond to that. So if you have any advice, please leave a comment below and let me know. So I don't do well with complaints, especially when I never get them. That was my first complaint, and this is my second year full time. Never had a complaint before. I see on the Facebook for the city and and for that neighborhood, anytime somebody is asking for recommendations on lawn maintenance, you'll see Magnolia Turf Solutions come up at least 20 times. So it makes me feel good that people, they may be my friends, not sure, but a lot of them are my customers that aren't technically my friends. So, when you get that many recommendations, it makes you feel good, and it makes you realize, yes, I am doing a good job. Because if you're like me, you kind of sometimes wonder, hey, are they pleased with, with everything that I'm doing? But when you see that amount of recommendations coming in, it makes you feel a lot better about it. So those were probably the two biggest things this week. So losing a customer, yeah, it sucks, but again, charge what you're worth. If you're worth $50 a cut, charge it, as long as they see the value in it. So like I said, you get what you pay for. So if you're charging $50 a cut, you need to be doing $50 worth of work. So that's pretty much it on this week. Like, follow, subscribe, and I'm gonna try to do some more of these this year. I'm going through a pretty big life change right now, so I'm gonna be changing some things up. I may actually be dialing my business back to part-time, for a couple of reasons. One, I just turned 40 and I'm just getting old, and I find myself hurting a lot more than what I used to. Also, benefits. Like for me to make this a lucrative business, being a one-man show, I need to be cutting 70 yards a week. Well, I just can't do it. At least in this area, that's what I would need to be cutting to make enough money to, one, just live throughout the year, and then two, be able to save money and to make a good profit off of it, because we don't just, we don't live to work, we work to live. And I want to live, and I want to live well. So a friend of mine is a bigwig with John Deere, and or with one of the John Deere dealers here, and so he's recommending me for an inside sales position with them. So that'll be nice. It'll keep me in the industry, and they pay well. There's great benefits because I need insurance, I need retirement, and then I would dial my business back to like $10 or 10 yards a week, and that would essentially be my spending money. So I would love to be able to do this full time for a while and be able to retire off of it, and by the time I'm 50. But I don't see that happening. So I've got the motivation to want to do it, but when you start looking at the big picture, sometimes you're just like, wow, can I really do this? And and if I went out and I got 100 other yards, and and I hired 3 or 4 people, I probably could do that, maybe, but I don't want employees. Employees are expensive, and they're expensive for a couple of reasons. 1, taxes. 2, they break your stuff. So I don't want anybody breaking my stuff. I've got enough money invested in my own equipment, and I take care of my equipment. And employees, ones that you can afford, are going to tear your stuff up. I mean, it's just over time, that's just going to happen. If they're a really, really good employee, then that's awesome, but you also have to pay them accordingly. And I don't have the resources to do that. So, I'm trying to be ambitious, but at the same time, I'm trying to be a little bit of a realist. So I hope everybody's able to, get out and work, make some money. Luckily, in our industry, we really don't have to interact with people. All my people I have, they're now paying online, except for like 2 or 3 of them, and they always just leave a check under the mat, which is fine. I never have to see anybody face to face. So, so everybody just stay safe. Have a wonderful weekend. It is Friday, so I just finished up, so it's time to knock off and go get clean and relax, and I guess stay in the house in quarantine. So everybody have a wonderful weekend and stay safe. We'll talk to y'all next week. See ya.